Today we are going to be talking about a discussion born out of our last video when we spoke about um can your landlord increase your rent? If you've not watched that video, go right now and go and watch the video. And today we are going to be talking about tenancy disputes in Nigeria. Know your rights as a tenant, know your rights as a landlord. I hope you're ready. Let's go right into it. We are back again. Welcome to the Law and I, where law is made simpler and life is made better. And it is your host, Folakemi Jegede. How are you all doing? I am doing great here, and the Law and I is also doing amazingly well. Good to have you all here. Please don't hesitate to share our videos with your friends and family, your network. Click the notification button so when you will drop each video, you are the first partaker of our videos. And remember to subscribe to this channel. And today we are going to be talking about a discussion born out of our last video when we spoke about can your landlord increase your rent? If you've not watched that video, go right now and go and watch the video. And today we are going to be talking about tenancy disputes in Nigeria. Know your rights as a tenant, know your rights as a landlord. I hope you're ready. Let's go right into it. Who is a tenant? A tenant is a person or a business who pays a particular consideration or payment yearly, monthly to the owner of the land or property, and that payment is called rent. And the tenant occupies the property and enjoy the right of use of the property depending on the agreement agreed by the two parties, which will also shows the lifespan of the tenancy, whether it's monthly, whether it's quarterly, half yearly, or a yearly tenant. So now you understand who a tenant is. So who is a landlord? A landlord is the owner of the particular property or the land, or the person that have been given the power of attorney to be in charge of the property, whether as a lawyer or an agent who has put that tenant there to administer and look after the said property, is the landlord of that property. I hope you understand. What is a tenancy agreement? A tenancy agreement is a contract between the tenant and the landlord that shows the duration of stay, the consideration, which is the amount of rent that you are paying as a tenant. It also shows the rights and duties of the tenant and also the landlord. It also shows the condition upon which you can be evicted and condition upon which the tenancy can be terminated. The tenancy agreement is much encompassing because that is what guides the relationship between the tenant and the landlord. And it is always very advisable that you as a tenant must have a tenancy agreement because it's like your little or your holy Bible that you can refer to when occasion arise. So, can a landlord evict a tenant at any time? My answer here is no. Eviction in Nigeria is subject to procedures as provided for under the Recovery Premises Law. And in Lagos State, for example, is also provided for under the Tenancy Law of Lagos State. If you are a monthly tenant, for example, you are entitled to 1 month quick notice. If you are a weekly tenant, you are entitled to 1 week notice. If you are a yearly tenant, you are entitled to 6-month notice, which we all called quit notice. And after the quick notice, whether a 1 week notice, 1 month notice, 3-month notice, depending on what is in your agreement. And if those things are not stated in your agreement, then the statutory law will guide the relationship. And what I'm saying now is the statutory law in recovery of premises. So if you are a yearly tenant, then you are to be served a 6-month notice. After the expiration of the 6-month notice, then the law provides that you also be to be served a 7 days notice. The 7 days notice is called owner's intention to recover possession. And a lot of times, let me just explain this. People will ask, but my tenancy has not expired. Why did they serve me quick notice? Or why did they serve me quick notice and they expect me to pay for it? Quick notice that you are being served quick notice does not mean you are to live there for free. Quick notice is notifying you that your time is up and you are to deliver the possession of the said premises. Of course, there are procedures that must be followed before such can be served. And I believe that if that is followed, the law recognizes same and you are ready to be evicted from that place. Remember, it is only court that can give an order, for eviction. So if a landlord has followed all the processes to serve you the quick notice and serve you 7 days notice of owners to recover possession, then the court of law can evict you from such premises. Of course, we have seen illegal eviction. We have seen removing of roof. We have seen removing of windows. We have seen cutting lights, different ways in which um, landlords have tried to cut corners to evict their tenants. But those ways are illegal ways. You don't have to do that if you follow the normal procedure. It's clear and simple, and the court will grant you an order for eviction of such tenant. So no matter what the tenant has done, the landlord must go to court. Self-help is illegal. I repeat again, self-help is illegal. Go to court and exercise your right as a landlord. So let's go to the rights of a tenant and a landlord. What right do a tenant have? Number one, you have a right to quiet possession and enjoyment of the property that you have paid for. You have a right to enjoy it, not like one landlord will be knocking your door. Please, during the pendency of your rent, not when you are owing. When you are owing, you don't have that right. But when your rent is still subsisting, you have a right to quiet possession and enjoyment of the property. Number two, you have a right to a valid quick notice, as I've explained earlier, depending on the type of tenancy that you are occupying. Number three, you have a right to a refund in a situation whereby your rent is still subsisting and the landlord wants you to leave. You have a right to a refund of your rent, of course, for the remaining parts that you have not used, which will be calculated on prorated basis, and you have a right to such refund. Then you have a right to also acknowledgement of your payment. A lot of time you see people pay rent, there's no acknowledgement, there's no receipt for payments, and when issues now happen, provide your receipt, they will say the landlord did not give them. It is your right. When you pay for your rent, you get the receipt for the payment. And the last one but not the least, you have the right to privacy. Landlord cannot just barge in. If you have a good tenancy agreement, it is always indicated as to timing that the landlord can come and visit, and also to give you a prior notice. It's not like the landlord will just come in and barge in. So you have a right to privacy of the property that you are occupying. Please don't forget that a tenant also have the right to sue the landlord for trespass or damages, for landlord that break all these rights that I have explained. You can sue your landlord if your landlord did not follow proper procedure and did not allow you to enjoy the money you have paid in occupying the said property. Then let's move to the rights of a landlord. Before I start the rights of a landlord, I'm always of the opinion that landlord, especially in Nigeria, they're always at the receiving end. I always believe that the tenants enjoy more than the landlord, but because I want the landlord that will be watching it to also know that they have rights under the law. So for the landlords that will be watching this video, what are your rights under the law? Number one, you have the right to receive your rent at when due. It is within your rights. I'm not of the opinion that people should stay in people's houses without paying rent. So if you have tenants that is not paying rent, you can exercise your right by suing such tenants in court. Secondly, you have a right to reasonably notify your tenants to vacate your house. There's nothing like Alpha and Omega that will stay in your house. You have a right to tell your tenant, don't do. Please leave my house. Even for the chief tenant, you can tell them to leave your to leave your house. It is within your right. And the third one is right to protect your property. In a situation whereby you see, despite the tenancy agreement, you see that illegal things are going on in your property, you have the right to sway into action and protect your property. You can also exercise this right in court. And the fourth one is right to eviction of that tenant by following the procedures. Procedure for quit notice, procedure for 7 days notice for owners to to possess the property. And also remember, you can always sue a tenant in court, whether in damages, whether in recovery of your rent, even men's profit. When you have tenants that are owing, whether 6 months rent, whether 1 year rent, you can always sue them for recovery of your rent, men's profit, even after they've packed out of your house. There are different procedures. You can even go through small claim courts, depending on the state wherever you are in Nigeria, or go to the magistrate court, depending on the amount of the rent, or at the high court. The court is always there for you to exercise your rights. Well, and if you don't want to look at that side, then you can explore alternative dispute resolution, wherein you can also exercise your rights and report such person that is owing you money. As a landlord, you have a right under the law. You are not a second-class citizen. It is your property, and the law also protects you to enjoy the fruits of what you have worked for. Is a tenant automatically entitled to a refund upon leaving a property early? And my answer is it depends. If you leave a property on your own volition voluntarily, you are not entitled to a refund only if there's an agreement, the tenancy agreement provides for it. And so it's not a matter of as of right. And if it's not in the tenancy agreement, then you have to talk to the landlord about it, and they have to, for example, get someone to occupy the property. Maybe when they now get the person to occupy the property, they can now prorate the remaining month or the remaining days and refund it back to you. So it is not something that is as of right if it's not provided for in your tenancy agreement. But in a situation whereby it's the landlord that is evicting you out of the property, then you have the right to a refund for those days, those months that you have not used, and that money needs to be refunded immediately, because as at this time it is the landlord that is asking you to leave the property. I hope you understand. And that is why it is very important that tenancy agreements should not be copy and paste. It must be detailed. Peculiarities of instances must be in the tenancy agreement, so that when the thing now happens, you know where to refer to, you know what to do, so that you just don't pack in. Some people pack into the property and they don't even bother about their tenancy agreement. It's even the landlord that will now be running after them. Take your tenancy agreement. It is more of a priority for you as a tenant, because it protects you more to make sure that you execute the tenancy agreement and you understand the clauses, and all these things are all in place. So how do we handle tenancy disputes between a tenant and a landlord? Number one is resolve your issues amicably. I believe that if you have a tenancy agreement, it will guide both parties as to issues and how they should resolve it. Amicable resolution is very important, especially when it comes to such kind of relationship. And number two, I will talk about keeping your documents intact. Keep your tenancy agreement. Make sure it's executed, not is still in the word format and you did not even print it. Make sure that you have signed it. Both parties have signed. Keep your receipts of payment. Keep your any document that are relevant to the two parties, keep it intact. Write your complaint, communicate your complaint to the other party. I've been in a situation whereby, because there are few properties that I manage, and you will go to the tenant and they'll be telling you complaints of 3 4 years ago that did not even pass across to the landlord. Let your complaints be timely. Don't keep complaints, pass your information within time so that you are able to separate issues from one another. Then involve a lawyer as early as possible. When there is a complaint, involve a lawyer, write the complaint, let the lawyer handles the complaint so that both parties are able to solve issues timely. Then the last result is court. You can explore dispute resolution via court or alternative dispute resolution via mediation. And but I will advise, depending on the circumstance, mediation, you explore mediation. But when it comes to recovery of premises and all, we advise that you go to court. I hope you have really learned something today. Remember that when it comes to landlord and tenancy relationship, it's not a lesser part of a contractual relationship. Is also a contractual relationship, and you need to treat it as such. You need to treat it serious and with relevant legal points ticked and in place. Thank you again for being part of this journey with us. Remember, the law and I is where law is made simpler and life is made better. Don't forget to click the notification button, subscribe, and also leave a comment after you watch our video. Let us know that you are there with us. We appreciate you. Take your time and have a great day. Bye.